Hello everybody, Mad Wolf here with another video on modding The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Today I will be showing you how to manually install a mod into The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Now while I do have a two-part video with The Witcher 3 mod manager, that is for using, that's for using ones that will automatically install properly with the mod manager. While there are other mods that you have to have in order to mod the game that you can only install manually. It's not that they're complex, it's just the way to put them into the game's folder. Mod managers can't do that at this time yet. There could be like another version of the Witcher 3 mod manager where it will actually handle doing these mods that are currently manually installed only. It's just not out yet. The mods I'm going to be discussing today are part of the community patch team, and there are five different mods with the community patch system, which includes base, bootstrap and utilities, menu strings, shared imports, and finally BesserVisser. The first three, base, bootstraps and utilities, and menu strings, those are not optional. You have to have them in order to mod The Witcher 3. I take that back. Actually, you only need two of them is a must. The other three are optional. The base and then bootstraps and utilities, those are must in order to use mods with The Witcher 3. Menu strings, while I do say it is optional, if you download mods that installs menus, in a menu option into the start pause menu, then you do need menu strings, because on the start menu, start pause menu, I should say, under mods, there is only 9 lines that you can use in order to have mods. And if you have more than 9 mods that require a menu, then you're not going to see them properly on the start pause menu. So you'll have to use the community patch menu strings. The other optional files, starting with shared imports, I really don't use that because there's not been enough mods that I use or that have been created by that use shared imports. Shared imports is basically where a mod creator gets the shared import scripts and then incorporates that into their mod's scripts. So that way it will be easier to use script merger on, where it would be automatically merging the scripts. Whereas if they don't use shared imports, that mod runs the risk of having to be manually merged with the scripts, which that's another video I will be doing, as I mentioned previously in other videos. That's going to be a more in-depth, and it's probably going to be a long video, because while there are some videos out there about script merging for The Witcher 3, they're not spoken. They're only through, you'll have they have music in the background. These type of videos, music in the background, probably because the person has a thick accent and you can barely understand them when they're speaking English, or they can't speak English at all very well, but they know how to write in English for the most part. So you'll see those videos that have music in the background. They may have the notepad on the screen and they're typing it in, what to do here and what to do there, or they just move their mouse around and they'll just go like this. And showing you that you have to click there, and then they'll come down, they'll scroll down, and then they'll circle and click there. I know they're trying, and I know they're trying to help people, but those videos to me are annoying. So that's why I'm doing these videos, is because you need to be explained in verbally on how to do mods for The Witcher 3, how to use mods for The Witcher 3, how to merge scripts, how to merge texture files. So that's why I'm creating these videos. And now the script merging video that I will be doing will probably be a long video, because if I have to, which I know I will, manually change lines in the files, you have to see what I'm doing in order for it to make sense for you. And I'm going to be doing it hopefully easy enough for you to understand how to do it. So that way you will feel more comfortable script merging. But now back to what I'm going to be showing you today with the community files. The last community patch file is called BesserVisser. It's a German word, and it even says that it's a German word and what the meaning is behind it. And now, what BesserVisser and Netpicker's patch does, it basically fixes a lot of texture mistakes in the game, missing textures, gaps in the textures. There's been some instances of playing the game where the water level is really low or missing in a certain area where water should be, or there's a really invisible next scene when you see what is it, during the Dandelion quest to try to find him. He talks to, oh, I can't remember her name, but he talks to one that she does basically she does laundry, and when you're talking to her, you can see on her shoulders where the straps are of her dress is, but you can see the invisibility, the invisible gap uh, between her skin texture and her dress. So that's what this does. This mainly fixes texture mistakes in the game. There's a couple of script fixes as well. Not many. As you can see here, these two are listed as scripts. But they're mainly, again, like I said, they're mainly texture visual mistakes that are fixed. There's another mod out there that does more script fixes than texture fixes. And if you use that, which I'd recommend that one along with BesserVisser, that has to be priority wise, that has to be loaded before BesserVisser, so that way they will work together. You don't have to do any script merging between the two, but in order for the one mod, which is called Brothers in Arms, in order to use that mod, it has to be a higher priority number than what BesserVisser is. In other words, you have to number it. I'm going to throw random numbers out there, but don't put it on this number. I'm just throwing a random number. You put Brothers in Arms mod at number 9 priority, and then you put BesserVisser at number 10. 9 is numerically lower, but in priorities, it's numerically higher. And so that means it gets loaded before uh, BesserVisser. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. And the first mod that you have to download and install is Community Patch Base. Community Patch Base is basically the foundation of scripts for script merging. And it will help with script merging of the different versions of the games. Now, briefly, if I can, hopefully, there are different variations of Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. While they are all version 1.32, there is the GOG Game of the Year version, which has some files or script lines that are unique to you when you use the GOG platform. Then there is the Steam Game of the Year version, which is the base game plus all the DLCs. So if you buy the GOG Game of the Year, all of the DLCs are included along with the base game. If you buy the Steam Witcher 3 Game of the Year edition, it includes the game. It includes all the DLCs with the base game. Then there are two other versions. There is I'm sorry, I keep using saying versions. It's variations. There's two other different variations, but it's only because one is GOG and one is Steam, and they are both non-Game of the Year. And why they are called non-Game of the Year is because you bought the base game when it first came out in 2015. Then they gave us 16 free DLCs. Then they released Hearts of Stone, and you bought that DLC. You paid for that DLC. Then in 2016, they released Blood and Wine. Then you purchased that DLC. So the non-Game of the Year version is just basically you buying the base game, you get the free DLCs, and then you paid for the other two DLCs. The Game of the Year has all of that already bundled together, and that's what you pay for singly. You pay one single price for it. So that is the different variations of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which all of them are, again, version 1.32. Now, what is different about version 1.32 versus version 1.31? There is not much difference at all with those two versions. And a lot of people revert back to version 1.31 because there are some changes, very small changes that CD Projekt Red did when they created version 1.32 that broke some mods or made changes to where it was it did not work well. Mods for version 1.31 did not work too well with version 1.32. All they did with version 1.32 is, like I said, they may have done a bug fix or two, but they did change some scripting, and then they added the Chinese language to it. So there is a way that if you don't want version 1.32, if you've got the non-game of the year, what you'd have to do is you have to get this one mod that is reverting version 1.32 to version 1.31, and then you have to delete the folder that has the Chinese language in it, in that folder. But if you have the Game of the Year edition, either for Steam or for GOG, you don't need to use that version of that mod of reverting the game back to version 1.31, because basically you bought the Game of the Year edition. It cannot be um, reverted back to version 1.31 because the Game of the Year version was never 1.31. Okay, so I did some explanations on the different variations of the game, and then I explained the differences between version 1.31 and version 1.32. So now I'm going to discuss about how to manually install these community patches that are a necessity in order to mod The Witcher 3. The first one you're going to need is Community Patch Base. Like I said, it lays the foundation for you to use mods in The Witcher 3. It took the place of the unification patch. Now, if you've never modded The Witcher 3, then you have no idea what the unification patch is. That's good. You don't need to worry about it. If you are a person that's had the game for a while, and well, for a while by meaning if you've had the non-game of the year version and you're just now playing again and you want to you want to see what new mods are out there, then you'll know what the unification patch is. Well, the community patch base takes place of the unification patch. So if you do have the unification patch installed, take the unification patch, uninstall it after you remove all the script merging, and then you install the community patch base. And so that way you can continue playing the game with the new mods and now the new community patch base. So now, in order to install it, it tells us how to do this. And real quickly, like I've said in previous videos, everybody must read the description page for installing and uninstalling. And it also, the description page will answer questions and will have a longer description of what the mod does. So please read the entire description before you decide if you want to use that mod or not. When it comes to this mod, you need to know how to install it and then uninstall it if you want to get rid of all your mods. So anyway, in order to install it, you have to open up the mod and then put it into the game file. So when we have here, I already have them downloaded. And speaking of which, quickly on a side note, every mod that I'm going to be using in this video, I will throw a link down below to the Nexus pages where you can download the mods that I will be covering today. Okay, so now I've already downloaded the community patch base. I'm going to open that up and then click on that twice. And now, according to installation, I take the content and the mods folders, and then I move them into the Witcher 3 game folder. And then it says here, replacing files when prompted. That means basically when the window pops up asking you to replace the files, if you have Windows 10, it says replace. If you have Windows 7, it'll ask you if you want to keep both copies of the files. So you don't want that. You want to move them into the Witcher 3 game folder. And see, it's already asking if I want to replace. Yes, I want to replace. I'm not going to choose let me decide, and I'm not going to choose skip these files because we need them. So I'm going to replace the files in the destination folder. That's all there is to it. So now installed is the community patch base. So the next one that I'm going to do is the bootstrap and utilities. The bootstrap and utilities is another mod to help load mods into the Witcher 3 and make them work with each other. If you're going to use a mod, if you've already looked through some of the mods, but if you're going to use them, if you come across a mod that you like that's going to change the world map, and what I mean by changing the world map, if you're going to use the mod that adds all the quest markers, or you're going to use a mod that changes the fast travel points, or basically the road signs. That there's a mod out there that adds new road signs, and then there's a mod that moves the stash chests to different locations. So that's which, if you played the game before, you know the stash chests are visible on the map. But if you're going to use mods like that, you need the bootstraps for unmodified world map, which makes no sense. I know it sounds weird, but they want you to, if you're going to modify the world map by getting a mod for it, you need to use the unmodified world map. Doesn't make sense, but like Todd Howard from Bethesda, Howard says from Bethesda, it just works. I don't know why they chose to say it unmodified world map, because that's untrue. You're going to be using mods that changes the world map. If you're not going to be using mods that changes the world map, then you use the normal Bootstrap version 0.4.1. Now, the one you have to use, forget that little sound. That was my computer letting me know that my phone has a new notification. Anyway, so the first one you need to download is the registry. That has to be installed before you use either one of these two. Now there's, as you can see, two different ones for here. One is the normal one if you're not going to use any world map changes, and then there's the other one that if you're going to make changes to the world map. There's also, in the optional files, the script hook files, which the script hook files are ones where it will load certain things of the game faster. Well, not faster. It will load it before other parts of the game, like the draw distance. And when I say what I mean by draw distance is it's like the distance that you can see trees or mountains or anything like that. The script hook the script hook will load those first. So that way they're already pre-rendered on the screen, so you see a farther distance of everything. And so you have the option of using the script hook, which I recommend that, because you do want things to load before other things to make the game more stable. And since I'm using mods that modify the world map, again, it says unmodified, but I'm actually modifying it. I have already downloaded the script hook unmodified world map. The reason why you see downloads of these is because when this first came out in 2019, I went ahead and I grabbed this one because in my confusion of it saying unmodified world map, I downloaded that instead, and my mods wouldn't work. And because I read the description and it didn't make sense to me, so I went ahead and downloaded this version anyway. Then when I found out everything didn't work, I reread the description again, and sure enough, it does say, I wasn't imagining it, that if I'm changing the world map, I have to use the unmodified world map. So these came out in 2019, whereas the script hook versions came out in 2020. And I didn't play it all in 2020. And this is the end of now, coming up on the end of 2021, and I haven't played it yet. Last time I played The Witcher 3 was 2019, probably beginning of 2019. And so it's been a couple of years. I have over 3,100 of gameplay hours. And yes, I am going to have a video to where I'm showing you that I have 3,100 hours in the game. But anyway, so I went ahead and I downloaded the Bootstraps registry and the script hook unmodified world map. Now I have to install that. And it's basically the same premise as doing the base, community patch base. I open up the Bootstrap registry, and then I click on mods and drag it into the Witcher folder, and I'm going to replace and not skip or compare. Now I need to put in the script hook unmodified world map. So I'm going to click on that to open. Take both of these, and then I move them over into The Witcher 3, replacing the files again. The only reason why it says replacing files, because normally it would, if you have never put these in before, it would not be showing you to replace it. The only time it will show that is when you do the base, community patch base. That's the only time it is. When you're first installing the Bootstrap mods, it will not say that. The reason why it says it on mine is because this is, I don't know, take 6 or 7 of this video. I kept getting interrupted, or I sounded stupid, or I went off rambling. So I went ahead and I would stop the video, delete it, and then start all over again. So that's why you see that they're saying replace. Okay, so I'm going to stop here because I want to keep this video short. The next video I have to do is about the community patch menu strings. And the reason why it's getting its own video is because you have, in order to get some mods to work that has menus, I have to physically change uh, uh, words, add words into the text files, the XML or WS files, in order for the menu to show up in the game. So for right now, I am ending this video. I'm sorry that I took too long. Some of it was because I was going deeper in the explanation of the different variations of The Witcher 3, and also explaining the difference between version 1.31 and version 1.32. So, and then I have done a little bit of rambling that I hate that I do. I'm trying to get better at it. Hopefully you'll stick around with me long enough to where I finally get it to where I'm not rambling, and that all the information that I'm giving is information and not rambling. So anyway, thank you for watching this video today. And then I will see you again. Well, I won't see you. That's stupid. I will talk to you again in the next video about community patch menu strings. Thanks again for watching. I'm Bad Wolf, and good luck on the path.